What's up? Welcome into the West Bros Experience. Good morning. I'm Bob West.
And I'm Colby West, and today we'll be talking about why entrepreneurs or salespeople should train like athletes. The first thing that pops into my mind is why do I need to train? I'm an entrepreneur. I do my own thing. I work my own hours. What am I going to train for? And the answer to that is, well, what's your goal? What's your end game? What's your long-term vision of where you want to be in, like, go back to goal setting, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. Where do you want to be? And that requires some training and preparation.
I like it. Yeah, when I started in real estate just under a year ago, or basically a year ago now, started getting ready and training for it, moving over from professional golf, it was kind of like, it was surprising to me to hear about this concept. Like, salespeople need to practice and entrepreneurs need to keep training and getting better at their craft. It was surprising to hear that because as a pro golfer, it was like, that's kind of a no-duh concept. You hear about Tiger Woods putting in 12-hour sessions on the range, or at least he used to before the fused neck. And I mean, you knew that you had to put the hours in, you had to put the practice in. And I think that's really what we want to get into here today is you've got to put the practice in, because so much of the time, the important time, the money-making things, the appointments, that's like the game time for the athlete. And that's really a small percentage of the overall time that you have and the overall time that you put in.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, you think about NFL players, their games are maybe 3 hours on Sunday, an hour of actual gameplay, and you think of all the hours that they put in behind the scenes in the weight room, on their couch reading a playbook, watching film. Like, that's exponentially more. They're probably putting in 100-hour weeks just to prepare for a little 60-minute slot on Sunday, and that's completely transparent with what salespeople need to be doing. They need to be practicing scripts before a sale, before a meeting.
Absolutely.
And those meetings are super comparable like game time.
Yeah, working on that stuff every day. Sticking with football, I remember Bill Belichick, he talked about, winning Super Bowls and celebrating, having parades, all that's great, and he loves it, but it also means that he's about 2 weeks in preparation behind every other team when it comes to next year.
On to Cincinnati.
That's just a little insight into the mind of what it takes to be one of the greatest coaches, not just for 1 year, but for what are we going on, like 17 seasons, 18 seasons or something crazy in New England where everybody knows. It's just unbelievable. So getting on that same page with your attitude, with your mindset, and figuring out, hey, what's my long-term vision and how does my daily routine kind of feed into that?
It really is. It ties right back into your goal setting, and it's having all that preparation and time to yourself, because you're maybe spending 30 minutes to an hour a day, maybe in meetings, and the rest you've got to have fillers. You got to be doing preparation for your calls before your door knocks, and figure out how you can get better from those. It's like a pre-knock situation. Say, hey, I'm going to go in, give my script. It may not go as planned, but I need to be okay taking the L and going back to the drawing board and figuring out how could I have done this better, and maybe I can convert next time.
Right. Yeah. And you referred to yesterday's episode, which is how to fall in love with losing. And that's an important part of it, falling in love with losing and moving on from that, getting up, dusting yourself off, figuring out what you could have done better, how you can make yourself better going forward, and then implementing that into your daily routine. And I think that's kind of what we want to get into next is, okay, so if you're in sales, if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is, that if you're on your own, you need to be training. You need to be working toward an end goal, but now we want to get into kind of the when and the how of that. So what are some ways people can start to implement that maybe into their daily routine?
Yeah, first thing I think of is you're going to need a mentor, you're going to need a trainer, you're going to need a coach. Absolutely. And people that are out there absolute crushing in the industry first one that pops to mind is Brad Lee. Brad Lee has a Lightspeed virtual training platform that you'll probably start to see more and more often. And Joe Simon's a sales coach, and he's absolutely crushing it in just about every industry. So huge shout out to those guys. They were
Absolutely.
super approachable at M3 Accelerator back in March. Got to talk with both of them, and super genuine guys, and they'll give it to you straight up. So
absolutely, some really awesome content out there. Give them both a follow too, because every single day they're dropping no BS, just no nonsense.
Yep.
Training, and they're going to call you out too, where you're selling yourself short, where you're falling short, or where you're making excuses.
Right.
And that's, I think, maybe the most important part, especially when you're on your own, is having a mentor that's going to keep you accountable.
That's right. Yeah, accountability is the part of the game. It's holding yourself accountable, but also having someone, like you said, call you on your BS. And
it is. It's because we've all got long-term goals that we want to get to, but every once in a while we need that daily reminder, like, hey, you got to get up, you got to get after it, because you've got that long-term goal. And that's where a mentor, that's where a strong circle in general will help you. Surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs and other salespeople, other people with side hustles that are just looking to grow, looking to expand their lives. And grow together. I think that's powerful. That's what we hope this pod can become. This video cast can become is kind of that forum for everybody to support each other in that way. So keep moving forward. So I wanted to get into the end of day and kind of how do you do, like, basically a personal performance review?
Yeah. Obviously, you've got to go back to the drawing board, like I said previously, and chalk up your wins, your losses, and things that you could do better, and realize, like, go through as simple as every single call. You could take 30 seconds after a call, if you're cold calling, for instance, write down what were their hesitations, when did they go quiet, what was their demeanor, and then what did you do to get the call back on track from that point. I know it speaks to a lot of salespeople, kind of the Jordan Belfort type, said keep them in their lane and along the sales process, and you keep kind of redirecting the conversation.
So kind of figuring out, just the different objections that you faced, the different objections that you might face, kind of playing out those scenarios and actually practicing them, actually getting excited, even picking the phone up and putting it next to your head to practice, getting pumped up, going through exactly what you want to say and how your demeanor, how your tonality is going to have an effect on the conversation, because all of that ultimately is going to affect your end game and affect your end result. And whether it's cold calling, or whether it's door knocking, or whether it's appointments in person, or meetings in person, or just in-person networking, work on all of those different things. Work on introducing yourself to strangers in public. Work on the various aspects that are going to help your business in the long term. Yeah,
definitely. And this doesn't all have to be negative feedback. It doesn't all have to be critiques. You've got to celebrate your wins too. Celebrate every victory, and really embrace that. And take a second to say, hey, that was awesome. Got some great feedback, either directly or indirectly, and then keep growing from there. It doesn't always have to be a negative spin on it to make yourself grow.
I think just continuing to improve on your strengths is, the biggest thing that anybody can do.
Right.
I know Gary Vee talks a lot about that as well, but really getting into just what are you great at? Why are people doing business with you? And doubling down on that and really improving on that and improving yourself that way.
Yeah. So that's about it for today. Why entrepreneurs should train like athletes. Hope that helps you a little bit, kind of get in the mind of an athlete, of a Tom Brady, of a Bill Belichick. May seem crazy, but is absolutely necessary to keep growing as an entrepreneur or salesperson.
Yeah, get out there, start working, start training, keep it up, and ramp it up even more, because there's big time goals to accomplish. So,
all right, let's do it.
See you next time.